morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast. Hosted by our headmaster, Jared Bachman Stubbs, you can find all of us here at the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com. Our shows, the Nerd Academy Podcast, Knights of the Nerd Republic, and Campus Life are released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget, check out our Patreon, where every donation helps to keep the lights on.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy Podcast. I am your host and headmaster, Jared Bachman Stubbs. And on the show this week, we have Black Leader Travis Grossman. A recording safe. Yeah, no, can't take a chance anymore. Not after the Snyder Cut episode. We are slow learners, but eventually we catch on. We have Joel the Sentinel Basin back.
That's I went to bring my hands up and I hit my phone and flipped it over, and now that made a big sound too. And
so, for those of you wondering, I thought it only appropriate for the Avatar episode. And listening to the Campus Life where I put on a rant about this, but I have some tea, Kung Fu style.
Yes, Joel is here to spill the tea over Avatar: The Last Airbender. I will
say though that my good tea hasn't come in yet, so I'm still doing some god awful tea right
now. Still waiting on the good. We have
shipping from China.
Oh that's not exactly an easy feat right now. We have the lore keeper, Connor Chikiti.
Hello there, everyone.
And on her first The Nerd Academy podcast episode, we have Alexis the Consular Cabell.
What up, my dogs?
I think this might be my first too. I don't know if I've ever been on a teen episode.
Holy shit, it is. Holy shit, this is your first episode on the Nerd Academy.
All because we're just all big fans of Avatar.
Yeah, this is the
first show ever.
Avatar.
Travis?
I don't know if I agree with that statement.
We all have favorites. We all have favorites.
I said one of. I said.
Oh, okay. I lost the one.
We're good.
Oh yeah, we all totally heard the best. Yes, as you guys have probably gathered both by the title of this episode and by some sidebar comments, we are doing our Avatar: The Last Airbender retrospective this week.
As if we haven't already had 10 years to retrospect on it.
Yeah, seriously.
That's the fun thing about this is that we have a really nice cross-section of different experiences with this show, which is what, I've always wanted to be the case with anything we cover on here. We have somebody can respond to Levi at their leisure. We have with Alexis and Joel and Connor, you guys got the opportunity to properly grow up on the show, and with myself and Travis, we vary between. It was
properly.
Yeah. Well, I
don't remember much. That's the thing.
Well, that's the thing is I watched it here and there. So like I'm below Connor, and I'm below me as far as experience of this show is Travis, who has seen one episode leading up to its Netflix debut.
I saw 3.
You saw 3, okay.
I had seen the one everyone says to skip because it's the worst episode. And then
the canyon one.
The canyon one.
Oh, come on.
It's just bad. It's so it's not even that it's badly written. It's so boring to watch. And as a kid, especially, who had grown up on I had grown up on Dragon Ball and Yu Yu Hakusho, and at the time Naruto was coming out, and just like all these shows that were really high octane action, and to see the promos and be like, yeah, the show's going to have some cool fighting in it. Oh, they're walking through a canyon for 20 minutes.
Right.
This ain't for me.
And Aang lies at the end.
At least from my perspective, if I'm watching a show, especially the first run through, I don't care what other people have said about it. I have to watch every single second of it, And
but
that's fair.
I was also 7, 8.
I really thought you were about to say I was Sasuke, and I was like, that's a different show.
No, I'm not a complete idiot.
But yeah, we all are kind of coming here with different levels of having seen and rewatched this series. For those of you who have listened to our Clone Wars retrospective that we did leading up to season 7, this is going to follow somewhat of a similar format. I didn't do the whole favorite arc thing because the whole show is basically one massive story arc that all kind of like plows to that final confrontation during Sozin's Comet. So we are going to get into the weeds here, and
I think we already know people's favorites arc.
yeah, I mean, there's character arcs, yeah, but
Best show ever.
Nah.
Travis,
fell in
I will
love with it.
fight you.
Do it, you won't.
I'm with you, Lex. I'll come down. I'll come across the state, and just to fight you.
This show has shaped me as a person.
and I am so excited to get into all of this and see how many times everybody threatens to attack Travis over it.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking,
I can't wait. I can't wait to fight that Italian man.
the
Can't.
I'm Italian, and I'll fight him, fella.
she bullies all of us. Her fighting an Italian man is like saying, "I'm gonna go into the wet rain." Like this is nothing new. We're all wops and we're all getting harassed on the daily. Travis, I'm gonna kick to you first. I'm gonna talk favorite episode.
Don't. So, like, I was thinking about this. I don't know that I have a singular favorite episode because, like, so much of it. Because again, watch the whole show in like one burst.
Yeah.
So much of it bleeds together. I guess the one with all the little mini-sodes of everyone in Bossing Say.
Okay.
Right?
Stop.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're all really cute stories. And also, I know I'm the only one here that didn't cry at the Iroh episode. Get fucked.
I don't know how. I don't know how.
So here's. I'll be honest. Here's what did it for me. When he was in the market, and he gets the whatever that string instrument is he gets. It's not a guitar, but you know.
Yeah.
And he starts singing to the kid. That reminded me of my dad in like a really cute, like, because he loved kids. So he would just, like, anytime he saw a little kid, he'd walk up and just be like, "What's up, buddy?" And it was just like, "Hey, my dad did that. I like that." And that was just like, I was good. Plus, I knew what was coming.
Okay. So I didn't know what was. I had a feeling because like I knew like the rumblings of like, oh, Iroh lost his kid during the Battle of Ba Sing Se and all of that stuff. So like I was going into it knowing that he had that Ba Sing Se was just the whole city was an emotional wound for him. So I went in knowing that and like kind of having an idea as to where the episode was going. Like I had a feeling that's where it was going. But like seeing somebody who's always so serene and so in control, like absolutely fall apart. I was not okay. I was not well. That I did not handle that well. But that makes sense though, Travis, for you being being able to see it coming and kind of riding the cute high of it a little bit, that like that offset it. That makes sense.
But yeah, and then like Zuko's little bit was adorable. Sokka's was hilarious. You know, all that fun stuff.
Appa's wasn't so.
Appa got his whole own episode.
Yeah.
That should be illegal. The fact that Appa's Lost Tales air was right after Tales of Ba Sing Se. That should just be illegal.
Yeah, it hurt my soul.
It destroyed
really bad.
me.
I think I cried more for Appa though. Not gonna lie.
No, I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
Like it was longer, so there's more to cry about. You know, like
Yeah.
Iroh gets you in that one really big gut shot. Appa's just like, hey, and then it got worse. Oh, by the way, and then it got worse. And when you thought it got better for just a second, it got worse again.
Excuse me, I'm an airbending bison, and it gets worse. But yeah, no, I think Tales of Ba Sing Se is probably a very popular favorite. Those little vignettes are a lot of fun. I love Zuko's as well. But yeah,
Oh my God, Zuko's was great.
Yeah, you're right.
that angry little bitch trying to be normal. It's so good.
I love that, man.
Joel, I'm gonna pitch to you now. Favorite episode as you pour the tea.
So I'm gonna do this every single time I'm about to talk. I'm just gonna like hold up to the microphone. Just okay. I don't know if you could hear that.
I hate to inform you that it was not audible.
So, um, so my favorite episode. Well, I will have to start off by saying like, how can you pick a favorite episode? Like, oh,
Yeah.
my heart. But I will say that one of my favorites, besides the obvious, is the chakras episode.
Yes.
That's very
It's a
good.
good one.
That's very good.
It's
That's ooh.
like
Yeah,
it hits
the
you
one-
really big on the heart, and then
The one of him opening up the chakras to get to the Avatar state, right?
right,
So
exactly.
I'm not. I was so like I got it, but it was a very confusing message to me. Because like in that moment, they're like, you need to do this, or you're gonna fuck yourself up later. But then later on, when he's talking to Avatar Roku, he's like, no, that wasn't right. Because you need to have emotional attachment. You are too, and like, it made sense in a way, but mechanically speaking, like, I don't know how he accessed the Avatar state then, how any of them accessed the Avatar state on command, if he was being told that like the last step wasn't the right last step.
Right, but here's the thing. I think the reason for all of that was one of two things. One being like it was never meant to be like completely letting go. It was always meant to be for the time being, to get the job done. You have to focus, and you have to just set aside your heart just for the time being, so you can access it. Not setting aside your heart, but your attachment per se. And
Yeah.
then the other one being the change in that decision, the change in that advice being deeper, and like there's always more than one way. And that was especially emphasized whenever when you get to the very end, whenever he takes away Fire Lord Ozai's power.
I mean, that's a whole different thing anyway. But I mean, like I'm talking strictly mechanically. Like, I think the arc is beautiful. The idea that like he's being taught by an old airbending monk that he needs to let go of attachment, and then to have a prior avatar say, "No, you're the avatar. You're basically like president. You don't get to be detached. That's not how this works. You have
You're
to care
basically
about the world.
president.
Like you have to care about what's going on. You will be partially in charge of everything happening. But like, if they establish, and again, maybe this is a misinterpretation on my part, but like, it felt like they were establishing to like master the avatar state, he had to like cut everything permanently to a degree, and it seems like he does what you said, where like in the moment he detaches and just lets go. But
I think
I don't
there
know,
also
maybe
might
not.
be
I think
something.
No, Travis. I think that's what the interpretation was, because when he gets to the seventh chakra, it's literally just like, you need to let go of everything. It's very akin to Jedi philosophy. And that like he sort of needs to ascend past
This is the Nerd
this
Academy
mortal plane
podcast.
into the
Not Knights of the Nerd Republic.
Well, no, Connor, I'm
into
glad you
this
said that.
ethereal. I don't care. There's going to be crossover
No,
into this ethereal plane of the Avatar state. So,
well, Connor,
and like just being able to access it at any time.
I'm glad you did make that comparison, because one of the reasons why I love that episode so much is that it is very reminiscent of Luke on Dagobah in Empire Strikes Back, with that whole, kid who's very powerful but doesn't quite know what the hell they're doing, trying to figure it out, old ancient master who by all accounts really shouldn't even be here. Oh, my friends are in trouble. I'm going to go act a fool and get myself hurt. It's very Luke leaving
Same thing I
Yoda.
thought.
It's very Luke leaving Yoda. And on top of that,
And Ray and Luke, yeah.
yeah, even that. Travis, what I would say with like the whole monk thing is the way I interpret it, at least, is that the monk is his issue is that he is coming at it too much from the airbending philosophy because their whole mindset is
I don't.
not
No, okay,
being
no, I
heavily
understand. I
grounded.
understand. No,
Okay.
I understand that. I get that's the point. What I'm saying is that it to me did a poor job of establishing, like, I can't mechanically like
I think the mechanic issue is solved by the avatars of yesteryear coming
like
at it from
clarifying.
coming at it from
I don't
different
mean
angles.
explaining
Yeah.
it. I mean like I don't mean the like philosophy of yes you need to let go but only in these moments where you need to, right? Like I get that's the point.
I think you're coming from the ideology, though, that the monk had the only way, or was the true guide. But
Because that's how it was presented to me. Just like in any other, or like, oh, this is how bending works, right? Like you utilize your chakra and control this element.
nothing through the entire course of the whole series was anything concrete and set in stone.
But yes, it was.
No, I know, Travis. I agree.
There was
with what you're-
manipulations
yeah.
on those rules, but like metal bending comes from the like. I just ordered a kilt for work because they told me I couldn't wear shorts. There are hard set rules that I have found like ways to manipulate to my advantage. Metal bending works by going, I can earth bend. Metal is refined earth. Therefore, if I focus, I can bend it. Right?
It's an extension, yeah.
That's the concept. And it was presented to me, at least I felt, that in concept, to fully master the avatar state, he would have to let go of everything permanently. And then,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I completely hear you. From
Gotcha.
my perspective, I take that and I take it the step further, and I see patterns throughout the entire series where there was something presented, there was a certain way of doing things, a culture, a tradition, or whatnot, and then the same episode, if not the next, or somewhere within the series, it's resolved by a complete breakdown of that wall, a breakdown of that structure.
But that's not. We're moving on. We'll be here all night. We're moving on. You don't like.
Oh, I
I don't
think
think
the
I'm
fact that
conveying
this,
what I mean. I don't think I'm conveying what I mean effectively, and I will not find the words to in the next hour. So we're just going to move on.
I will say this much. I think this is very much a strength of Avatar: The Last Airbenders that we're talking about a show that is over a decade old, geared for kids that a group of 20-somethings are actively debating the mechanics and philosophy of. And like,
I'm not debating the philosophy.
no, I know. I'm just saying the philosophy is part of a conversation, right? Is part of the conversation right now, and the mechanics inherently go hand in hand with the philosophy, with how spiritual
What
the
if I say
magic
that I just
system
don't
is.
think there's any mechanics in the entire show?
Then you're incorrect.
Nope.
This is going to be a street fight. This is going to be a street fight. Connor,
bro.
Connor, favorite episode, my friend.
I have 7 that I'll just read off.
Okay.
So the 7 I have in no particular order are Avatar and the Fire Lord, Akka's Master, the Firebending Masters, Zuko Alone, the Drill, the Swamp, and basically the whole last arc of season 3.
Okay.
That is not
So,
a favorite episode, my friend.
I don't.
That's the whole
basically
show.
an episode. Yeah,
There are no mechanics here,
We
Joel.
get it. You like it.
like that's really hot. Those were the standout ones to me, I thought.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I was honestly expecting, Connor, for you to do the Clone Wars season 7. Connor, what was your favorite episode? Yes. And I was prepared for that. Lexi, favorite episode or a conglomeration of episodes if you can't just pick one?
I was trying to think about this. I even have it pulled up on my TV right now. I'm looking through them. I think I really liked the end of season 1 with the koi.
Excellent.
You
moon.
take
How
the moon.
you take the
Then you
moon
take
and
the
you take
moon.
the moon.
The moon.
I just thought
My
it was
girlfriend, my first girlfriend, turned into the moon. That's rough, buddy.
Yeah, see, what was her name? Yue?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
were.
really liked Yue. I mean, she didn't.
It's unfortunate. Yeah,
It was just
I get what
really
you're saying.
unfortunate.
It's a shame she didn't get more screen time, but she was in a lot of episodes that we just didn't really talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's the moon.
Yue canonically appears in most of the show.
But well, you saw that meme of Sokka and Suki kissing and the moon's in the background.
Yes,
It's
I know
just
exactly
like-
what you're talking about.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, I really like that episode because again, I love anything Water Tribe. I thought it was a beautiful story. I love how Uncle Iroh was just like, okay, this needs to stop. We need to get things balanced again. Everybody was kind of like working together, and it was just a beautiful moment of her restoring that balance, and I really liked it. But also, I really liked the ones with all the tiny arcs that Travis was talking about too. So I think those two.
It's a solid pick. Without I mention this anytime we talk about any fiction. I have finale bias. The final chapter of everything is always my favorite because I just like to see everything with a neat bow on top to see where everybody ended up. That said, not counting season finales and the series finale, which I again have a bias towards, I think my favorite episode was Sokka's sword training.
Oh,
That's a good one.
I absolutely,
Oh god.
as somebody who is on the record of talking about how anytime there is a sword involved in anything, my eyes are glued to the screen.
the meteorite sword.
I wish it
so
mattered.
beautiful.
I wish
it
shut up,
mattered.
shut up. You're no fun.
I like that episode a lot, and I was like, damn, my boy Sokka, he's got this he's grown up a bit now. He's matured. He's gonna use that sword, and it's gone.
Well, I mean, in his defense, in a kids show, I don't think he's gonna get much.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like the Ninja Turtles cartoon from the early 2000s when Leonardo would only ever use the sides of his sword to hit people to just kind of like pimp slap them with the side that isn't gonna cut their head off.
They did the same thing in One Piece. In the 4 Kids sub of One Piece, they would always reanimate Zuko's swords to be flipped. So they
love
would.
that.
Did I say Zuko?
You did say Zuko. I wasn't gonna
Yeah.
correct you. I was just gonna wait for Levi to listen back and yell at you.
I meant Zoro.
There you go. I was gonna bring it up, but I was waiting till you realized it.
It took me a second.
But no,
yeah.
I absolutely love that episode. Again, as somebody who loves bladesmanship, just as a general concept, Sokka being probably tied for first place for my favorite character. We'll get to the other one later. Anybody who's ever listened to anything I've ever said in front of a hot microphone already knows.
It's Kylo Ren.
Yeah, it's this show's version of Kylo Ren. But I absolutely love the show. The fight choreography when he had his final sparring match is a lot of fun. I like seeing that, Sokka is not he's not a boulder come to crush you. He's water come to drown you. He's very smart in the way he fights, even though he can be a little bit of an oaf in those character moments. You see how brilliant this kid is by the fact that he knows he can't meet this Blade Master head to head. He has to subvert him and move around him. I absolutely loved it. I love the aesthetic of the sword. That black blade is just it's so good. But yeah, that and then probably the final episode is probably my favorite. Just everything happening there.
How many times can you rewatch that episode?
Yeah.
That
honestly.
was one of the only other episodes I had seen before last week.
Starts at the last episode.
So I watched that one in the canyon, and then I watched the last 2 episodes because it was on. I was like, Nickelodeon was on my TV, and I wasn't going to change it. And I was like, wow, this looks really cool. Right? It had been a couple of years. I was a little older. I was like, damn, this fighting looks
that's
pretty sweet.
good.
That's pretty fucking cool. I'm going to keep watching. Oh, wait, that's the end of the show. Huh. Yeah.
Somebody's dumb.
I
That's
remember
great, and it's gone.
anniversary came around of the finale, and like it went around on Facebook. I was like, my heart.
I was so afraid they were going to kill off Iroh. I spent that whole episode in just sheer anxiety that they were going to kill my boy off. And I was like, I don't know why that thought went through my head, because like none of the main characters actually die. But I just spent the whole time like, no, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. You let my boy go. You let my homie go.
Joel.
Don't touch firebending Joel. Please, God, don't. So transitioning over from the micro of the episodes, we're going to get into the macro with the seasons / books. Travis, back to you, friend.
I think the seasons get progressively better with each season, and so that puts season 3 at the top for me. Season 1 is just like, it feels a little too adventure of the week for me, personally. Like, it's good still.
It is
right?
pretty
Like, the whole show
episodic
is
by
good.
comparison. Yeah.
That's fair, I'd say, yeah. I
Yeah.
love how it just gets so crazy, though.
Yeah. For a second, I thought one of you just added me in the chat, but it wasn't. It was my other group chat, and just so you all know, I was added by Feudalist Lobotomite.
Oh.
Naturally. Checks out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think season 3 is the tightest narratively. You see the most growth with the most characters because the show's ending. Who would have thunk? And, from around the time they get to Ba Sing Se, or like they're about to get, like around the time Appa gets taken,
Yeah.
to the end of the show, it's so tight in its storytelling.
It keeps you drawn in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like season 3 does such a good job of doing that. It also helps that they like have their first big attack on the Fire Nation halfway through the season in a way to trick you, like, and now we're going into the final battle, and if you're not paying attention to episode count, you like kind of forget, and suddenly you're like, oh wait, it's only episode like 9. This can't be the final battle.
Yeah.
Oop.
Wait, that's illegal.
Wait, that's illegal. And so, I love season 3. So,
All right. Fair points. And I don't think we'll end up having an argument about the magic system on this one. Joel.
there's no mechanics in seasons.
There's no mechanics.
Bravo.
There's no mechanic.
There's a magic system that they follow really well. And I have basically no complaints about the whole, like, we'll talk about it later, but
Yeah, sure. I just watched an episode of Supergirl, and there was an Earthbender, and they called them Earthbender. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this?
yeah, I haven't finished the season. I'm only like halfway through, but
Copyright? Is that name like?
I don't think so.
I mean, the concept of
Coin.
bending elements has always been out there. It's just that most people know about it because of Avatar.
Right. Well, anyways, so back to the topic at hand. Before I start, let's say how binge-worthy this, like, just going off what you were saying, Travis, how binge-worthy this entire, whole, all 3 seasons are. I mean, book 1's a little slower than the rest. You know, it really speeds up. But as soon as, oh man, it just pulls you along. But anyways, so my favorite season, I'm gonna say it's a combination. It's the latter half of the second season and the first half of, I mean, obviously the end, but mainly the first half of the third season, mainly because so much of the character development occurs, and then it's the cherry on top with Zuko, and as everyone knows, I'm just absolutely in love with Uncle Iroh and his wisdom and his guidance and his whole character development. And I will stand by my comment in saying that I think that this is the best shows with the best character development I've ever seen in my entire life.
And that's fair. But I've seen stuff that hits with me more, and we can agree to disagree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Not even disagreeing. It's
You know,
great.
I've had this since I was 3. Not this literal book, but
Right,
you know.
and I've never watched that or read it or been exposed to it.
Since people can't see, it's Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Who
feel
would've
like
thought
anybody
sometimes-
listening would have made that that assumption if it's Travis speaking.
Yeah. So whose turn is it now?
Yeah,
Alexis?
it's Connor. I'm going like I'm
Okay.
doing like a big V with the
I
where the
see,
video
I see.
is.
Honestly, I was gonna say season 3 as a whole, but because Joel brought up a great point of just combining basically the end of season 2 with season 3, I'm gonna have to go with end of season 1, most of season 2, and then just all of season 3.
So all of it.
Like
So the whole
pretty
show.
much, yeah. Like
Favorite season from episodes 0 to 61.
What the
Just-
fuck answer
I
was
just,
that,
like-
Connor? I love you, but what was
But if I
that?
had to actually choose, probably season 3, because it's like just the character growth is great, but it's just the fact that like the stakes are so high, and it's the culmination of everything that's building up to, and it's so well done that it's just like worthy. I don't know how else to explain it. Like
Good
really,
book.
like season 3 was just a master.
Connor, you
masterpiece.
employ a tactic that I think does not get enough play in the world, where you just make a noise to supplement your thoughts on something, and I agree with as a general principle on the show. Joel, stop playing with the silly putty. You were distracting us all.
Stop it.
Actually, the
Stop
rest of my family's
addressing me.
actually going to finish up Avatar, and they were like, "You want to join us?" I'm like, "I kind of can't."
Joel, I will confiscate it. Stop it.
Come over, you bitch.
I'm on my way.
You are the
you
least
dick.
threatening of anybody in this.
I'll brew you some tea.
I'll scold you with my tea.
A little bit of jasmine tea.
Joel's like, come here, bitch, I'll play you in Pie Show! But anyway,
Always makes the mind a little bit clearer.
Alexis, favorite season overall?
Okay, well, I'm just gonna say this. I was surprised because I forgot. I've seen Avatar like 5 times now. I forgot there were only 3 seasons. And when I saw there were 3, I was like, I thought there were way more. I don't know why I misremembered that. Again,
That's really sad.
it's really sad. But I think
Yes.
season 2, because that's when you start to get the ball rolling and the meat of the show, and like you're meeting Azula and everything. Because I love season
Excuse you. Her name is Daphne.
Yeah,
Her name is Ventress.
She is Daphne from Scooby Doo gone horribly wrong.
And
She's a witch.
Any hoozles. Season 3 I love, but I also know when I get to season 3 it's gonna be over. And
that's fair.
I love the build up of season 2. So, season 2.
All right, I'm here for that. For me personally, again, finale bias. However, I do really like season 3. Aside from that, I love getting to see characters have their beliefs really questioned. And from seeing Aang's pacifism really put under a microscope, getting to see Katara fighting with her better instincts, seeing Sokka come into his own, Toph truly learned to accept this newfound family. It's there's a lot to really love and latch onto. Season 2 really comes close for me. I correct me if I'm wrong. Season 2 is the season that has Zuko's like Lone Ranger episodes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Season 2 very much
Yeah.
comes close for me, for pretty much for the same reasons Lexi said. And especially because of those episodes of Zuko just kind of roughing it on his own and trying to become his own man. But I think season 3 clutches it for me. You know, it's seeing everybody be put through the ringer in that way where they truly have to learn who they are and come to terms with who they think they are in a very real way. Moving right along, Travis, it is time to get into the most anime element of this little retrospective, especially for your
Oh, boy.
sensibilities.
Yeah.
Let him off his leash.
Favorite
It's not
fight?
even close. Favorite fight, not even close. Aang versus Ozai, man. It's not even close. Like, it was like Aang versus Ozai, Zuko and Katara. You can't. I'm doing the hands thing. No one can see my hands. Aang versus Ozai, and then like mildly below that is Zuko and Katara versus Azula or Daphne, or whatever I was going to call her, and then like everything else, way
Yeah.
below that. And not seeing the fighting in the fighting in the show, generally speaking, is fantastic. Like
Oh yeah. The way it's directed.
yeah, the creative ways they utilize, again, the creative ways they work within the magic system they have set up is so fun to watch.
But not
But-
in a magic system.
I will break your neck, boy. I will neck bend you.
Ew.
Blood bending.
Earth, water,
Gross.
fire,
That's
air,
That's
neck.
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The idea of like there's water and everything.
We're not getting into this.
That freaked me out. I'd say that's another quote unquote
Well, like-
favorite episode because of how
Aang-
creepy it was.
Aang could just airbend the air out of someone's lungs. Right?
Ugh, yeah, I know.
Oh god.
A firebender could just light the air in someone's lungs on fire.
Question:
And just
but why
keep it
did,
burning.
Why did Avatar? Wow, I'm forgetting. Please help.
Didn't
Roku?
Roku, the one before?
Thank you.
Yeah, Roku.
Why didn't Avatar Roku like just turn off the volcano?
That's what I that's a thing though. I was like, wait, he has fire and earth bending. Can't he magma bend? Like that's a
Right.
thing he should be able to
Can't-
do.
Well, no, not even that. Can't he just like pull all the heat out? Just gone. Or well, like, and then you don't even see any of the firebenders like turn off fire.
I love that.
Like, you
See,
can't-
that's what I'm talking about. I love that kind of thinking. That's the shit I love about. But and like for the most part though, they think of shit like that. That's what I really enjoyed. But like the spectacle of a master firebender with doubled strength versus the Avatar, also with double firebending strength, which is something they don't really talk about. But Aang was also getting a power boost.
Yeah, he had a bit of an amp going into that
dude.
fight.
I think that was just so implicit that like that you didn't really need to.
I
I see
was
what you're
kind of
saying.
surprised they weren't like Aang didn't make a point of saying like you forget I'm also a firebender, which means I'm also getting a firebending boost right now,
I think at that
and I
point,
have the other three elements.
I think his mastery of the 3 elements plus the Avatar strength, like at that point, like the Sozin's Comet power amp is just like almost unnecessary.
That's yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
but
Oh yeah, dude. Sozin's got nothing on Aang.
I loved the like. I wish there was a little more lightning in the Aang Ozai fight because I lightning powers are my thing, man. I love that
I
shit.
wanted to see
But
Aang do the
he does.
thing. Wait, what?
He
He
discos. He
takes
does a
it.
disco dance. That's what he does.
Ozai because he doesn't want to kill him.
Yeah, he takes it and holds it for a second and then shoots it away from Ozai.
Dude, I legit thought for a split second, oh my god, he's gonna kill him, and then I realized, oh wait, that's not how this ends.
Yeah, it's like you. And that's the other, like, again, it makes sense that, like, if you're utilizing chakra to bend and you are the Avatar and you are so invested in your chakra that you can bend all 3 or 4 elements, you can just bend someone's chakra. Like, that's so fucking cool, you know?
Like the fact that he took, we'll get into that. It's just him taking away Ozai's bending. Ugh.
Like, it's,
Not.
like the concept is so neat to me, right? That they thought of that. Not the, yeah. But Aang versus Ozai, fantastic fight.
Yeah.
It was so good, it made me want to watch the whole show when I was like 11, and then I couldn't, and I was very sad.
Well, the one thing I love about that fight is that moment, it's kind of a trope, but that, the hero's getting his ass beaten, and then there's just that one moment where the tide completely changes, and you just have that I am about to hurt you moment where like you see him hit his back on the rock. And I was on a call with Alexis while I was watching the finale, and she heard me just go, oh no, oh, you're fucked, you're fucked, it's over, this fight is over, this fight is over.
Oh yeah, because like funny enough, because I totally forgot about like when he just goes full Avatar state. When that moment happened, I didn't realize it would reactivate for him, quote unquote, reactivate for him. I thought it would like hurt him even more in a negative way.
Well, and I think there's something very, ingrained in the philosophy of this show that had it not been for Ozai being as domineering and as brutal as he is, he would have won the fight. Because his own brutality and aggression ended up reactivating the Avatar state. We all heard that hiccup. We all heard it.
Sorry.
Right there, but it would only have it would have happened either way, I think, regardless of how it it was introduced since the very beginning. Once he gets put in that position, that dangerous position where he's actually fearing for his life, is whenever the Avatar state activates, regardless of the state of his chakras.
Well, no, but he lost his ability to tap into it, and it's the fact that he has that realigned by Ozai shit whipping him into that boulder.
Well, but does he?
If he doesn't hit that,
No, that's what they call attention to it, Joel.
That boulder.
That's the point of that shot of like his body turning white as he makes impact.
No, I'm not. I'm disregarding that for one moment, just to like the whole point, though, being he wasn't able to access how do I put this?
The full
to
state.
Voluntarily go into the state and control it was the point of unlocking the chakras. It wasn't to unlock the ability to use it at all.
Correct.
He was locked out of it completely.
But having his chakras disrupted is what caused him to not be able to use it up to that point in season 3.
Right, but he would have been put into the Avatar state regardless of how, if his life was in danger.
I don't know. I feel like there were enough encounters earlier in the season that like he could have been able to access it. He even says in the first episode, after what Azula did to me, I can't access the Avatar state anymore. Like carte blanche. Like that was the thing.
Voluntarily.
No, he was saying that he didn't think it could work, period. And that's the thing is that like, and by the time he's getting whipped into that rock, I feel like by then that instinct of, oh, he's gonna fucking kill me would have kicked in. Like especially whenever Ozai's, like whenever he's in that little rock ball and Ozai's just coming down on him with those torrents of fire. Like that would have been the moment it kicked in if he was not hamstrung.
It's not important, but
Joel, I really don't think you understand how magic systems work in certain fictions.
Excuse me, I think I completely understand, and a lot of the listeners will agree with me on this one.
I don't think they will, Joel.
Do we really have to have
I have to side with Jared on this one because of the fact that Aang says legit, I don't know if I can access it like at all.
That's just why
I
like
don't
that
blame
moment.
him. I mean, the boy got shot with fucking lightning
The boy was shot
as he was accessing the Avatar state.
And I think
trying to go to that 7th chakra, and Azula's like, what?
I think the reason I like that moment so much with the interpretation that he can't touch the Avatar state at all is that again, it's almost like a visual representation of the mentality of the lightning redirection. It's Ozai's aggression and Aang having to absorb that aggression that allows him to then return it. Because Ozai was like, I'm going to try to paralyze you now with this boulder. That in doing that, he just amped Aang up. And I love that, equal force being reciprocated type thing. Joel, your favorite fight, sir?
I think Joel feels attacked.
You literally didn't even let me respond.
Well, I mean, I was just
Because we'll
explaining.
be here for another hour.
Well, that was mostly just me explaining why I specifically subscribe to that interpretation.
So my favorite fight, I think. Well, I really love any fight with Toph.
Yes.
Really going at it. And especially that first introduction scene whenever, okay, not the very first, but the first one wherever she's like owning who she is, and when she's fighting
The boulder.
her father and
The boulder.
God.
Can you smell what the boulder is grilling?
But
he's not
scene
The
was,
Rock,
like,
he's Macho
so
Man.
smart and really
Let the
cool.
man speak.
And how like she used the smoke screen, and it was just very, very cool. So I wouldn't say
you,
that's
Joel.
necessarily my favorite, but it's definitely up there. So
No, this is a great fight. Seeing how inventive Toph is one of the best. That's when she's at her best, is when she's just doing very unconventional things with her skill set, and earthbending pro wrestling might just be yeah, exactly, metal bending, shit like that.
well, here's the thing, they're like at the end, I'm so glad you invented metal bending. It's like, you do realize the first person to mention that was not you.
That is a funny exchange. I remember laughing very hard
What's
at that.
his name? I
Sokka.
can never remember. King Boomy.
Booming.
Oh.
Yeah.
King Boomy's just mentions, and King Boomy's like, metal is just a part of the earth, and then like gets out of jail, like is perfectly able to control the jail cell that he's in, and then not until the like at least 5 episodes or more after that is when you first, like, Toph is just like, I'm gonna invent metal bending. Like, you sorry, you missed it there. Sorry.
She popularized it, at least. Connor, favorite fight?
Funny enough, I didn't think I'd have an answer for this until I watched the last arc, and by far, the Zuko versus Azula Agni Kai.
Okay.
Like, it's just the culmination of their entire relationship against each other, that they've just been sort of antagonistic against each other throughout the entire show, and it was the culmination of that, and just Azula going crazy because she's basically been going slowly unraveling, and you see the culmination of that. You see the culmination of Zuko becoming who he truly is, and just the music punctuating the emotionality of that entire fight was absolutely beautiful. And just I can't get over it. It was a wonderful fight.
I agree with you completely. Alexis, favorite fight?
The same. My favorite is the Agni Kai with Azula and Zuko.
Can we mention that Azula has zero respect for the Agni Kai?
Yeah.
Did you like what happened to one-on-one, bitch?
She is a messy. She is a messy bitch. With no respect.
She's awful, and I get that, but like that episode, that moment of her like just screaming in pain, not because she's hurt, but because of just all the trauma that they both endured for so long, even though she's she's evil
Yeah.
and put Zuko through a lot of shit. She needs
Help.
she
Yeah.
needs help. She needs just as much of that redemption as Zuko, but she's too far gone. And I think that's what I find interesting is like you could see that Zuko just completely changed and she's just so broken and can't really be fixed.
I hear you. But hear me out. What if she got a group of friends that like somehow liked her, and they all got in a van? Maybe they had a dog. I'm thinking maybe a Great Dane, and they all go solve mysteries together.
Oh God.
For those of you who don't get my joke, when she first showed up, I immediately realized she's voice acted by the same person that voice acted Daphne in Scooby Doo.
We've been joking about this the whole episode, so go back and listen.
Yeah.
I call her
I'm-
Daphne.
Honestly gonna beat you up.
Do it. You want to do it?
Okay,
She's
next
gonna-
time
I support it.
I will.
She's gonna take Joel's teacup and like smash it on a table like it's a beer bottle.
Joel's
No, I'm gonna
eyes.
take his stupid little water bottle and conk him over the head with it.
Conk.
Yeah.
Go on.
Oh, let's see how badly
Freaking
that's
bonk.
spiked. Let's see how badly that's spiked. No, it's not that bad. No, I am gonna hop on the same train as Alexis and Connor, but just by a hair. Zuko and Katara via Zula, I think, is my favorite. It's nice to see the evolution of how the process of an Agni Kai kind of evolves over the course of the show. We see Zuko and Zhao get into their first brawl, and you get to see the glimmers of Zuko's redemption when he spares Zhao. Obviously, Zuko's whole arc begins with an Agni Kai. This whole mess starts the moment Ozai maims him, and we get to see him over the course of the show engage in these duels constantly, not necessarily in a actual Agni Kai, but just fighting Team Avatar constantly, going toe-to-toe with the fellow firebenders from time to time. And by the time we get him at the end, not only is he in the mindset of, I'm not fighting to prove something to me, I'm fighting because I need to stop you. And it's no longer about him, it's about the greater good. And again, like you guys said, seeing Azula be absolutely batshit crazy in that moment, completely off her rocker is amazing. It kind of checks.
You could tell in her fire.
Oh yeah, and it just kind of checks all the boxes for me as far as like a final confrontation goes. Like the the redeemed characters back for that final confrontation, and they know what they're doing. Yes, Joel.
I was gonna wait till you finished.
Okay. Yes.
So can we talk about that post about the debate on why she is blue lightning?
Oh, you mean like the
Did you
blue
see that
fire?
You mean?
Sorry, yeah, that's what I meant. Blue fire. Did you see the post?
I know
That
what
was
you're
like,
talking about.
No.
Maybe it's because she's.
Was that the sort of stupid one, or
What was
What
it?
was
Joel?
it, Joel?
That she's a very salty bitch.
Yes, that one.
oh
Exactly.
yeah, it's a stupid one, yeah.
It's not just that it's hotter; it's just there's high salt.
She is
Stupid but accurate, yeah.
she is, as one might say, saltier than the Dead Sea.
One
I'd
might
say
say,
saltier than Crate.
yes, not the right show, Connor.
I don't care.
You're gonna get banned from TNAP, damn it.
I have one more reference, and you will appreciate it.
We'll
we
see.
will get to
We'll
it.
see. But
you will.
you have the redeemed hero coming back to wreck shit. I love Zuko's sacrifice play. And there's one element that I recently discovered as I saw something online talking about it, and it is that in the way that Iroh had previously mentioned using other bending techniques in combat and the way of channeling all of that, the fact that Zuko is using water bending, earth bending, and air bending techniques in his combat. You know, he does like that very specific earthbender style, like X block over his head. The way he moves his body in certain elements of that fight is very water bending. There's a lot happening there that is indicative of the other elements and him taking Iroh's lessons to heart. And, you know, everything that happens in that fight is a culmination of everything he has gone through up to that point. And that is why it is absolutely clutch for me. It just swoops in there. It absolutely takes the cake. And like I said, Aang v Ozai is right behind it just by a hair.
I feel like for everyone, it's one or the other. Like there's no in between.
Yeah. Speaking of everybody probably having the same answer or something akin to it, favorite character, Mr. Grossman.
All right, so first of all, Iroh. Not going to talk about Iroh because everyone loves Iroh.
My heart.
Yeah.
Like it's undisputed. He is the best character in the show.
Yep.
Objectively. And you could say objectively right under him is Zuko. I would even go as far as to say that. But I have two characters a little above Zuko because I love Toph and I love Aang. Toph, because like if there's two things I look for in a character, especially in anime or in this case an anime like, it's a flat character arc, like what Aang has, and a very unique fighter in an otherwise very like set fighting style system.
Yeah.
Which is like my favorite Dragon Ball character is my boy Bardock because he's so unique in his fighting style. My favorite Star Wars character was Galen Merrick because he's so inventive in how he fights. Toph is very much the same way, mostly because she can't see, so she has to be inventive with how she fights. And she's not like restricted to her vision.
If anything, it helps her.
Yeah, which like it's just so cool to watch. I love the idea of challenging Aang's pacifism because like he doesn't change; he stays a pacifist.
Yeah,
right. Like he finds a way to overcome that challenge without changing as a person. I think that's really cool. You know, most shonen anime protagonists face similar things where they, you know, the world, they don't bend to the world bends to them in some way. And it's kind of easy for the show to do that because again, he's the world's basically president, but with superpowers that no one else has. So makes it kind of easy, but not any less impactful. So it's like Iroh, Aang and Toph, Zuko, and everyone else is kind of in this pool right underneath there. So
excellent. Thank you for that. And I like hearing the, you know, the back and forth between other characters, because that's exactly how I know I arrived at mine. Joel, your favorite character? Nobody else saw you light that match, and we all just kind of went, okay. Joel's firebending in his room right now.
Am I allowed to pick the obvious answers, or should I?
No, to pick your favorite. That's the point. Yeah, we're
absolute
riffing.
favorite.
I just want to be Iroh. And I want to be Zuko. I want to be both combined because they're just like the best, like my favorite part of the entire series. Like, I want to have tea. I want to have a tea session with Iroh. I want to drink some jasmine tea with Iroh, and I want to be buddies with Zuko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get that's rough buddy out of him. Because you take the moon, and you take the moon, and you take the...
Quit trying to be relatable.
I'm not... Okay.
You take the moon.
Travis, shut up.
So many references.
You take the moon.
Now yell at him. Now yell at him.
She did.
I did.
Yell at him again. Connor, favorite episode?
No.
Or favorite
character,
fight character. Yeah, you know what I
You
meant.
tried.
You
Yeah.
all know what I meant.
favorite character. I have two answers for this. Sort of, more like one and a half. Favorite character. I'd have to go with Toph.
Okay.
Funny enough, I thought I'd have a hard time picking my favorite character, but she just
That's what I thought.
shone right through. Like, I just love her wittiness and just her dry humor. But just her ability to like learn new inventive ways to fight, despite her. And I'm using this not in a mocking tone, disability,
Yeah.
but just the fact that like she's able to rise up through it.
Yeah.
And and that shows that like we all can rise up through whatever disabilities we have in our lives, and she does that inventively and effectively with her fighting stance. But I also love that like she has this arc of realizing she can't just be on her own. She needs to be part of this team and part of this family.
Exactly. Yeah.
And just her personality, man, like I don't know, it really resonated with me for some reason. Even though I'm not like that as a person, it's just I think the way she was written just resonated with me personally, and I really love that about her.
It's a very human story, and it is very touching. And you're right.
Right, but my other answer is the best developed character, and I'd have to go with Zuko. I really don't even have and if you've seen the show, it's already said. Like I don't even need to say anything. Like his redemption arc is, like it's basically. This is my last Star Wars reference. It's basically Ben, if/when he comes back.
We're gonna
He's
put that on
self-redeemed.
when.
Now he needs to atone. Is all I will say.
Connor, I really appreciate your amazing commentary on the show. I want to call attention
I'm
to
being the rudest person in
Joel's
the world right
dumbass with like,
Connor, I love
mine's
you.
at home. Mine's at home. Mine's at home. Why did we not talk about wearing our gold hats?
Why do you have gold hats and didn't tell me?
Yes, we all have gold hats. We all
As far
have
as
gold
you know,
hats.
I did.
Connor,
Yeah.
I want to address what you said. I agree with it.
Oh my
Thank you.
god.
I do.
Thank you.
And I
my
think you have
God.
valuable things to say, and I'm sorry that I'm like high right now.
But you're not.
Yes,
Dude,
yes. For the
I
record,
pretty
Joel
much-
does not have anything in his body.
Yeah, no, I pretty much just
Water
tuned
and-
out everything.
Should have done
So-
show choir. You know what? Wish I had your confidence in middle school.
I was bullied into it. What are you talking about?
We bullied Spencer, but he never joined, so
So
The
Spencer
teacher
doesn't get.
cornered me on the last day of school and was like, "So you're doing it next year, right?" And I didn't know how to say no to a teacher.
Lubick
Goodbye, my
thinks
Coney Island baby.
Joel, I need you to not. I need you to stop
I
what
need
you're
you
doing.
to know that Jacob Lubick thinks that I was in it, and that's just a. Everybody who was in it always says, "Hey, remember that time when we?" And I was like,
I was never there.
"I wasn't there, but yeah."
That is still
Anyway.
the
Funny-
funniest thing to me is that
Last thing I'll add. No, sorry. Last thing I'll add. Funny enough, if I did this as a kid, my favorite character was always Sokka. But like rewatching the show is at 23 is just transcendent. Honestly, It's special.
Like, you pick up on so much more, and you know what I mean. I don't have to say anything. You
Yeah.
pick up on so much more, and then you learn so many life lessons. And I really truly believe that it's masterfully made, and applies to so many things.
no, you're absolutely right. It's a show that is punching above its weight with the themes that it deals with, and does so unapologetically. Like I remember being caught off guard watching the show for ostensibly the first time whenever I started watching it once it was on Netflix. And within like the first 5 minutes, Katara called Sokka a sexist. And I was like, oh, I like this.
Forgot about that.
Like within the first 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, so this is what everybody's talking about. This show being incredibly woke for 8-year-olds. I'm here for it.
That flew over my head as an 8-year-old because I
Alexa,
was just as shocked as you were.
yeah, and I'm 22, and I still got it still caught me off guard.
Anyway,
Favorite character?
my favorite character. So, ever since I was little, when I started watching the show when did it come out? What was I, 6?
2007.
05. I thought it was 05. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
7 through 9. Might be wrong.
Okay.
I
I
think you're a
thought it
little
was
off.
05. Anyway, I was like 6 or 7. And I used to pretend all the time I was Katara. Shut up, Travis.
I can't make fun of you. I just think it's cute.
Thank
It
you.
is. It is
I
adorable.
used to play
See it.
outside with my neighborhood friends, and I would always have to be Katara. I love Katara. I know she can be a little annoying sometimes, but Joel,
It's
I can't read what
2005.
that says.
It came out in 2005.
2005.
Okay, so I was 6, and I just feel like I relate to Katara. I just love how motherly she is. She's so helpful, and she loves them, and she's just a
Ooh.
healer. And
Very healer at that.
Yes.
yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Then
Can
the
you
blood bending episode.
real
I
quick?
wish
That freaked me out.
exists.
Real quick, Lexi, can you repeat what you said before they commented on the healing because you cut out for me?
Oh, what, like,
Motherly, loved everybody, and then you sounded like a robot.
Sorry, she was very
You're fine.
motherly. She was resourceful. She loved everybody and cared about everybody and wanted the best for the whole team. And she just was fierce and healy, and I love it.
Healy, I like that.
Healy. She healed around the entire
Yes,
time.
that was exactly what I was about to
She
say.
was, she was so hip and cool.
I remember I played ice hockey for a ridiculous number of years. Everyone in ice hockey had to have Heelys, and we would Heely around the ice rink, and then we'd get yelled at, and then we'd Heely away from the people yelling at us, and we'd continue to Heely.
I wasn't
You were
one
just
of
too
those
cool.
Heelys.
You were
I
like,
just-
you can't Healy here. Bet Healy away.
I have this image.
I dare you.
I have this image in my head of the bloodbending episode when Katara confronts the man who killed her mother, but like she's like healing up to him, like, "Do you remember me?" Like,
Wait, doesn't she float a little bit during that scene, anyways?
doesn't matter. She's on her Heelys now, like
That is
bloodbending the man.
Incredibly more cool.
Yes, she's like grinding on a tree in the forest. Just, do you remember who I am?
Someone get us an edit of Katara on Heelys.
I want that on a t-shirt.
Yes,
I think someone's firing off fireworks outside.
that's fun.
Okay, they stopped. They stopped.
Can you get Heelys anymore?
Yes,
I think so.
Yes, you can. Let me just tell you, as somebody who knows,
Because she owns 6 pairs.
no, he who shall not be named is an avid Heelier.
Oh no.
hmm
I guess we gotta burn
moving
them all.
right along, moving right
Makes everything
along.
a jacket, like
Moving on.
Moving on. Stay on target. Stay on target.
What target?
Yeah, it's closed. Don't you know?
Talk about Zuko, Jared. Why do you like Zuko?
Joel.
It's pretty simple.
Because his name should be Ben Solo.
Yeah, Travis, you might be onto something. He is reminiscent of all of my edgy emo boys with issues who I have a fondness for. But yeah, no, Zuko is my favorite as a shock to nobody. I love a redemption story. I love the aggressive, edgy boys who are always getting into trouble because they be sipping on the dumb bitch juice. Zuko's redemption is incredible. It is I think that, you know, a very close in contention episode with the Sokka swordsmanship episode is seeing Zuko kind of be a man on his own, and you know, trying to figure out if he even wants to atone for his sins anyway, and seeing those glimmers of the good in him with the blue spirit stuff, you know, the way that he confronts his father during during the eclipse, when he's like, listen, I'm done with you, I'm done with all of it, I'm with the Avatar now, and just for the record, I know I could take you on right now. You're not my fight anymore. It's his job to kick your ass, and I'm gonna help him do it. Shove it. Everything to do with Zuko, just absolutely, it's in my heart. In the same way that Ben and Anakin and, you know, so many other characters, you know, your angels, stuff like that that's my shit. Obviously, like Travis said earlier, Iroh is Iroh. Everybody loves Iroh. Now that's another thing I want to see. Everybody loves Raymond, but it's Iroh. But
Can we just get a whole series just about Iroh?
I would not mind an
Well,
Iroh prequel.
I want to see young Iroh.
Then they could cast a new actor for him. Actually, that would work.
I'd be here for that. I'd be here for a young Iroh story. I love him. Obviously, Sokka is probably my second favorite character behind Zuko, kind of because he follows the same arc, an arc similar to his. You know, it's not his redemption based so much as it's him finding himself in ways that he didn't expect to. You know, Sokka sets out believing that his destiny is that of a warrior, and you know, finds himself so very much as the brotherly figure that Katara needs, that Aang needs, that Toph needs. Sokka finds himself more in his compassion than his potential as a fighter, and I love that very much about him. So with that, we're going to bring this to a close with our final thoughts here at the end, kind of address some things we didn't touch on. There's like a little end cap here. So, Travis, final thoughts on Avatar: The Last Airbender.
0 out of 10. Thought it was awful. I love that I can see
There's someone that probably thinks that.
Yeah, there's someone out there that doesn't like the show, and they're dumb. Like, they're just really dumb.
They're straight up wrong.
I will admit that I am not as high on this show as most other people are, and that's not to say I think it isn't good. I think it is incredible, especially as a story meant for kids. But I grew up on shows like this, just not this one in particular, right? Yeah.
That's completely fair.
The argument all over the internet is Avatar not anime, right? Because it's so Eastern based in its storytelling and its art direction. You know, the one thing that like consistently bugged me, and not that, you know, like I think this is a bad thing, just like all the writing is in Chinese, but they read it like they're translating from Chinese to English. If that makes sense. And
I see what you mean.
Yeah. We're like, it was a weird choice to do it that way, but it's fine. Like, it never makes anything bad, right? But just like the over exaggerated art features, the like exaggeration to tell story, like give story cues and be funny and all that. That's all very anime, and that's why the conversation comes up a lot. And you know, Zuko's character arc is fantastically told. I saw Vegeta when I was 4. You know, like it's identical.
Another edgy bitch who is my favorite from that franchise.
It is, you know, guy wants to do bad things for wrong reason, finds out the wrong reason, finds a good thing in his life that he should aspire for, doubles back on that for a second to think because he thinks he wants the bad thing, and then re-ups on no, I want this good thing, right? Like it's 1 for 1. It's told a little lengthier, but you know, like I said, I'm a sucker for flat character arcs, like with Aang. and interesting fight choreography and interesting fighters like with Toph. Like the show scratches all the itches. It's just that I think for a lot of people, it scratched that itch for the first time for them.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Right. And so it boosts it from like a 9.5 to a 10, which is such a small increment. Right. But for some people, that's enough.
Yeah.
Well, I'll jump in there. At least for me, especially when I first saw it, and I'm completely agreeing with you. It for me was the first time I saw something that had any like substance. I'm not even gonna lie. It just had so much to it. And even still today, it's hard to find something that has that much quality and thought put into its creation.
And the other thing too is like when you look at shows like Dragon Ball, right? They are so long that to find that meaning, you do have to look. I'll admit that. Like there's a lot of meaningful storytelling in Dragon Ball, but goddamn, do you have to study that shit? Avatar is 61 episodes, and for the most part, like there's only maybe about 10 you can shave out of there.
Yeah.
And even then, there's parts of those 10 that still need to be there, right? Like
There's one episode in particular you can take out.
Yeah, you can just axe the Canyon episode, but like the thing that surprised me the most, honestly, was how like recurring a lot of people were.
Yeah.
Because especially from season 1. Like I never thought I'd see Jet again.
Same.
I was so happy. I was like, thank God I don't have to see this bastard anymore. Don't have to think about him.
Don't you disparage him. Don't you disparage him.
I hate him.
He's a domestic terrorist.
He really is.
Needed the same love and affection and kinship that Zuko and Azula need to find themselves. He is a victim of a totalitarian government. He did very bad things, but his heart is in the right place, and he could be de-radicalized.
I don't think Azula deserves much love, but I'm happy to be proven wrong.
Well, she needs it to get better.
She's an absolute witch.
If they could save Zuko, they could save her. No one's ever really gone.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Zuko didn't kill anyone.
That's
what makes his redemption, I think, inherently so much better. Is that he actively does not kill anyone in this show. Guess what Azula does?
That is an argument for a different day.
Thing.
That is an argument for a different day, because I think somebody who actually does have blood on their hands has more to prove in a redemption arc. But that is an argument for a different day.
You know what?
But yeah, so
I agree with that.
Yeah, just the level with which things come full, like the number of characters that were like come back in the 3rd season astonished me.
Yeah,
like I never thought I'd see most of those people ever again, and that was kind of the one thing that impressed me the most was like, because again, anime, right? One Piece in particular is so profound on its world building, and just like anything you see could be elaborated on later as this much bigger thing. And yeah, I seen that. The Avatar does that, right? In a smaller scale, because again, only 60 episodes in it's a pretty small feeling world.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. Like it, but yeah, overall fantastic show. Really impressed. Probably like a 9.5.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, up there, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's an A minus territory. Definitely.
I would love to see it like redone and aimed for like an older audience, but done legitimately and well.
You mean like the masterpiece M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender? Anyway, Joel.
What movie?
What movie?
What are you talking about?
I don't.
What are you talking about?
Joel,
it's not real.
What?
Joel, your final
What's not
thoughts, my
real?
friend. As he takes a sip of his orange soda.
In love with this show, and it will stick with me until the day I die. Everything I know about being a good person comes from 2 people, not my parents.
Don't you talk
God.
smack on them.
You know that's not true.
I know. I'm kidding. Other than my parents.
Oh
it's
my
Spencer-
gosh.
It's Spencer and the Last Airbender.
Respect. All of my wisdom comes from animated characters. You're goddamn right, Joel. Welcome to the club.
That is very
my
funny.
first best friend and and anime. I'm tearing up over here.
Connor,
Such a little baby back bitch.
he is the baby back bitch. Connor, your final thoughts on Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Incredibly dope. Everyone needs to watch it.
Very concise. Thank you.
For sure.
Something
Alexis,
that the show is not. I absolutely love this show. I recommend it to everyone. It shaped me as a person, and I didn't realize it, but from a young age, I just loved them. I loved Katara. I loved the dynamic, and it's just a very good show all around.
agreed. Lots of killer, very little filler with Avatar. Travis, you and I are kind of cut from the same cloth with our thoughts coming away from it. However, I am able to opine on it a little bit more. I love getting to experience other people's, like, this is my happy place content. I think it is an amazing way to get to know somebody as a person, is to be like, show me your favorite movie, show me your favorite TV show, play me your favorite album, to really get inside of somebody's head. And, you know, as somebody who didn't really who grew up seeing the show here and there, but didn't get super invested in it, just as I just never really got a chance to really watch it. Getting to see it now and getting to get that peek into Joel and Connor and Mike and Alexis's and Levi's souls in a really weird way of like, this is why this means so much to you guys, and getting to see that, like, you know, like I get to now experience this piece of content that you guys hold so dearly, that was such a huge part of my enjoyment for it. Was I'm sitting there on the edge of my seat and I'm like, every time there's something that happens, I'm like, this is why this makes so much sense. Aside from that kind of sappy level of enjoying it, and getting to appreciate your guys' content in a way, you know, as somebody who was imprinted on by a very, 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 very early age by Star Wars, and it being my first love, the Campbellian hero's journey is something that I will eat up like a thirsty dog. I'll lap it up like a thirsty dog on a hot day. It is exactly that itch, you know, just the hero's journey and all of those elements. And Alexis's face of disgust may be my favorite thing I've seen all
Joel,
year.
I'm not the only one. Look at Joel.
I'm used to that scowl, and your camera's above mine, so I'm like looking directly in the middle, and I can see your image easier. Joel is now pantomiming slitting my throat with the lightsaber chopstick. But no, I just that story is something that will always land with me in a very real way, and it makes my heart happy to see that kind of story, to see a story of redemption, of love, of found family. It's everything that I love in my fiction and then some. So high marks to Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I'm very happy I got to finally experience this amazing franchise.
Would you say that it is quality?
I will say that it is very high quality. And that's the T, sis. Travis, where can the lovely people find you?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Travis Political.
And Joel, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me quite overactive on Twitter at Jay the Sentinel. God. At Jay the Sentinel, spelled Jay on Twitter, and Bass Baked Cosplay on Instagram.
Yes, indeed they can. Connor, where can the lovely people find you, my friend?
You lovely people can find me on Twitter at DepaBanana. They can find me on Instagram at ConmanJFO, and they can find me on Facebook as Connor Chikiti. If you just want to see my Star Wars stuff.
That indeed
and just
they can.
anything else.
Lexi, where can the lovely people find you?
Okay, since I have some usernames for everything. Instagram at acapella98 and Twitter at LexiLion98.
Excellent. The lovely people can also find me, like everybody else, screaming into the social media void, Dark Jedi 2552 on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also check out our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where, if you're feeling generous, you can chuck a couple bucks into our Patreon while you're there. Today, at the time of the recording, Monday, June 1st, we uploaded the second episode of our Star Wars Versus series. Spencer and I tackled the matchup of Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Mace Windu. We had a lot of fun recording that. It was a hoot to make, and subscribe to hear July's Versus episode, which will be Kylo Ren versus Ahsoka Tano. Thank you all so much for listening, and class dismissed. And your homework is to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender.